Hi guys, IrishSoul4Kelly all the way from the UK. I hope you're well. I hope you can hear this. I do apologise over my last YouTube that I've uploaded. The quality wasn't, and the sound, I don't know what people think of it, but I've uploaded it and I couldn't properly hear it when I was listening from a laptop, but I could hear it when I plugged my earphones in, so into my phone, so I can hear it. But anyway, I just thought I'd redo another one very quickly to explain and outline the position that I'm coming from as an Kelly supporter living in the UK. And I haven't even yet introduced myself properly, because my intention is to start spreading the message over here in the UK, if it's not out already, but I want to do my bit. And there's a couple of things that I want to highlight, and in that I want to I'm standing up for change basically. And you know, I guess I want to kind of express, you know, how the Robert Kelly situation right this minute as it stands, and all these charges and what's took place as it's come to this stage, and how it reached me as a non-supporter and fan at the time. I mean, I've always loved his music, but you know, as far as these other dedicated supporters and fans that have walked with him through all his life, yeah, I've loved his music and I've listened to it, but really on a personal level, or even just as a supporter level, I knew nothing about his life. I knew anything about his life. He was just another R&B celebrity, and a very well-known one, and that's all I knew. And he'd bring out a tune and I'd love it, and I'd either sing to it or dance to it, but that was it, you know, that was it. And he was certainly someone that you wouldn't, you know, turn off, you know, when you'd listen to his songs, because he is still absolutely brilliant, at the top of his game, very unique, and there'll never be another man like him. And you know, his artistry and how he delivered that in his music, in his words, and communicated that to, you know, the general population on a global scale, kind of hit me on a different level, on a core level, especially the song, I admit it, and that's what raised my attention, made me sit up and pay attention. And I remember listening to the song and thinking, this man is trying to tell us something more than what he was saying. A 19-minute song is a very, very long song, so naturally you're trying to get out a lot, but there was just something behind it. There was a meaning behind it. There was a level of emotion behind it, and it was something that I was tuned into, and I was intrigued to want to know more. And from that song, I then, you know, went to the library. I downloaded the words of the song, and I started to listen, and I started to really look at what he was trying to say, and it took off from there. And maybe in other YouTube videos I will explain a little bit more of myself within that, you know, in how I come over a year later supporting this man. So I just want to make it clear that I am not affiliated with any organisation. No fees, no pledges to sign, there's nothing like that. I don't believe for a minute, in case that anybody should feel threatened in where I'm coming from, my manner of speech, some of the wisdom and knowledge I have in regarding the Human Rights Act, and in the way this man is being treated. But at the same time, I do want to stress and make it very clear that the information that's going to be provided for me on this journey and this search for R. Kelly's due process is going to be very valid, and it's going to be accurate. and it's going to be from very valid sources. So I want people to keep that in mind, that it won't be BS, and it will be about action, and it will be about questions being raised, and it's about awareness and raising awareness, and why a man of this how do you say that word, collaborate, you know, of his stance and his status was took down so I would say violently, absolutely. You know, I believe personally Ted Bundy got treated better. You know, his human rights, he received his human rights. So what I'd like to know is, you know, why in USA they feel that they can do things different, whether it's the colour of the skin, whether it's about power, whatever it's about, justice, whatever, people making reports and complaints, whatever it is. All I know is I have witnessed over the other side of the world something inhumane, you know, and because of that, I'm here now, and I'm very, very determined person. I'm very determined person, and you're not going to shut me down or shut me up. I'm a professional person. I'm a professional work, you know, background for over 20 years. I work in the same field as these alleged people, you know, over the other side in the USA. So I know how to play the game if I want to, and if that's how you express it. I know how to play the game, but I also know people's rights and people's human rights. And you know, where the USA government has to take notice, they have to, in the end, sit up and listen. They may never want to change the laws, although I would say it's long overdue. The US Justice Department system over in the US is past its sell-by date. Now you try and keep that afloat with so many million population of people and squash them into that regimented old style of belief of USA laws when we're in the year 2020. And you know, I've always been told the construction of change, it's merely impossible. You know, and if I don't stand up for this, right, I'm standing up for R. Kelly and his situation, because he's being held as a subject in their eyes to prove a point, I believe. And I know what this is about, okay? I know what it's about. You know, and the reason why I'm doing this is because from an international point of view, some different nationalities and cultures who appear and seem to be treated the same under the USA flag, where their own beliefs and values are not taken into consideration and the due process is denied. Now, if this is happening to R. Kelly, who else has it happened to? So I want to make a change. I want to make a change, and how I'm going to do that is stand up and be counted. Now you're going to get an Irish person involved in this. Be prepared to be on the firing line when you stand up for change, and it's a true saying. You know, as I said, I'm not affiliated with anybody. I don't have to fear anybody. I don't fear anybody. And this is not for the faint-hearted. It's not for the weaker person. Trust me, you take a stand in this and you're up against a lot. Rejection, you know, put downs, everything. As people already in the US and all these supporters are up against this. But you know what? You call a spade, and when something's wrong, it's wrong. So I just also want to quickly mention these 3 men that got arrested over in the USA, who apparently, allegedly had the connection with R. Kelly in some way. Okay, so we've got Don Russell. I want to big up this man, and the other 2, not somebody Williams, and I do apologise the other name. I don't know the name, because do you know something? I don't go and read loads of articles and loads of, stuff on this matter as it stands. I don't need to. I don't need to. I know what it is already. So I don't need to. That's not what my interest is. If I have to, and I'm onto something, I'm looking at something, I'll do it. But other than that, I don't. So forgive me if I don't know everybody's names. You don't know me, I don't know yous, but I'm going to send over a mark of respect. Okay? I can't for the life of me see these people jeopardising their own lives and someone else's threats to other people's lives. Now, I'm going to get into that about Lifetime and the documentaries and stuff like that. Personally, I don't believe it. Now, if I'm coming out here taking a stand and speaking my truth, and somehow further down the line I may get this wrong, don't believe I've got it wrong, because it's took me almost a year to come out and speak, for a reason. But if I am, I will humbly admit that to anybody, any person, any USA government, anybody. I can humbly do that. Okay? I know my position in life, and I know my purpose in life. So, with that, I'm human. No one too special. I get things wrong. But I have a genuine feeling, due to the handling of this situation, that something is very wrong. Okay? And in how a situation normally pans out under these rules, it doesn't go to this extent. It isn't exposed in this way. Okay? And the person isn't a subject to a crucifixion, an execution in the exact same way, treated like a death row prisoner, US death row prisoner, because that's exactly the way this man's being treated. I wish Robert Kelly all the best in his fight for this, in his recovery, and in his career, his future career. I'm sure this man has the most unbelievable fate. I'd say it's rocked. It's being rocked. Despondent is a loss of hope. But any consolation to any person out there, I've been there. So, when you've been to the valley below, you can only appreciate the view from the top. And the good news is you never, ever, ever have to go down that low again. That's the good news, because no matter what you come up against, you will never go down that low. My experience. But then my experience is all I have. And I'm not Robert Sylvester Kelly, and I'm not up against this. I am up against this in spirit. In the same fighting spirit. But the person involved is not me, and it's Robert Sylvester Kelly. And so to these 3 men, I just want to say a mark of respect for today. It couldn't have been easy. I do remember Don Russell, when I watched the TV, he was getting out of the van with Robert Sylvester Kelly when Robert Sylvester Kelly was handing himself in. He voluntarily handed himself into the police station. So I'm assuming that we're speaking about the same guy with like a beanie hat on his head. And he was talking to reporters, and I remember listening carefully to what the questions they were asking this gentleman at the time, and how he was replying responding. And under the circumstances, personally, I thought he done very well. You know, I know that the relationship with Robert Sylvester Kelly, he was a manager, and he's known him for a very long time. And they, you know, it claims and it's alleged that he you know, they fought over places, standing spots at busking all them years ago to make a few shillings. So that's going back quite a lot. And that tells me that you know, he is a good friend, and I'm imagining he doesn't wish this man any harm. He has a child of his own, but what really stuck out to me was this. In the interview, he spoke about losing a daughter, that he'd lost a daughter, and that really touched me, you know, it really touched me. That must be horrendous for any man to go through, to lose a daughter and to live with that. Now, I have personal experience of that in my family. It's something horrific, you know, so it's very, very difficult. And when I heard that, I guess, you know, I just thought, yeah, hey, you know what, I identify with you. And he spoke in a manner against his friend, and he handled that situation very well under the circumstances, given that, you know, it's a loss all around, whoever is related to this man, Kelly. So, right, I've waffled on, and I just wanted to say my bit, and you know, let's see what I can bring to the table. Let's see what I can bring to the table. This is about change. It's about change, and it's about bringing hope to the hopeless. And I'm not going to say a voice to the voiceless. I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say hope to the hopeless, and reach out a line of hope to this man, so that, you know, he can rub off and it can support someone else. But, you know, long overdue. And you know what, I believe, personally speaking, I believe the USA Justice Department needs challenging, and it's needed challenging a very, very long time. So just stay tuned, guys. My plan is to get the word out, get some flyers out. I'll demonstrate as I go along with little videos of what my intention is. All I'm asking for is a lovely sunny day like this, with what I have planned in mind, which will take some time. But hey, you know, God loves a trier, and